Okay, welcome back. We have a big slate to look at here on Sunday, so we appreciate you rolling with us, as always, on the leans, the locks, whatever it is. In this case, what we're giving to you, at least what we have here on Caesars, 21 or older, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. As you know, we're going to hit you with locks. That's what we need. That's what we want in our life. The leans out of here. Save that for the week. Look, it's also just a busy day, so we don't want to bog you down with a ton of analysis on a lean by any means. Thumbs up, subscribe, please. Let's hit it. All right. We're going to head on over to Caesars. Told you about this great deal. Whatever you want to bet, your first bet. And I know you're not on Caesars, so why not click that link below and jump in, right? Like, why not? Why not? Why not? All right. Now, we've got some early action here, as you see. Try to get this here for Sunday. Now, let us begin with the early game, okay? Poorly produced, as you would hear, but St. Louis, Pittsburgh. Normally, in this type of scenario here, what would we do? We'd say, hey, this game starts at 11:35 in Pittsburgh. We would just go under 9, but this pitching matchup is pretty tough to ignore. Rich Hill, on the mound, on the bump, what have you. Difficult matchup. Like, I'm not going to touch that total. Michaelis could easily get crushed. Rich Hill should get lit up. Ultimately, I'm just going with the bats here. And that's where we are. St. Louis minus 1.5 on the run line at plus 105. I still think that there's some meat on that bone. And again, the lineups, just the discrepancy that you get in talent at the plate for what Michaelis will have to deal with. Granted, on the road, I get it. Early start, I get it. But Rich Hill and the Pirates, it's not as good of it's just not as favorable of a matchup as you're going to see. So we're going to have to head right in, jump right into this sucker and take St. Louis on the run line. Oof. Boston hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. This one, we're not going to get too cute. We're just going to take Bradley and Tampa on the run line. Pardon me, the money line. Just mentioned that we're not going to get cute. What am I talking about? Tanner Hawk's on the other side of that. Hawk. That's what you're going to see. Look, Taj Bradley has been pitching exceptionally well. Limited or not in the time in which you've seen him, he is striking everybody out. He doesn't walk a soul. It's hard to hit him. Granted, I get it. Like, this is not a 10-year, whatever. My point being is that Bradley right now with the Tampa Bay Rays coming into this game, minus 120 on the road. I get it. It's going to be a little bit of a shade there, but not probably as much nearly as it would be if it were flipped. Offense, like, I have no problem with the bats getting to Hawk. Especially because, if you look at some of these guys at the top/meat of this Tampa lineup, you're really not getting much in the strikeout zone. So it's just going to be difficult for Boston to nail this thing down and survive from a pitching standpoint. Speaking of which, well, here we are. Phillies needed one. Phillies absolutely needed one. Ranger Suarez on the other side of this now, starting to stretch out, starting to come around here, right? You can see the difference, minus 160. I think it's worth taking a shot at one of these Caesars. All right? 4 or more runs conceded after 6 innings. All right? Do you see that? That's plus 117. The Washington Nationals. Look, this is a tough, just from the get-go, from the jump, from the beginning of this game. I mentioned Ranger's coming around fine. Trevor Williams, on the other hand, he could easily get lit. Look, the Phillies snap a losing streak. They start to believe. No, I'm just kidding. They're just not in last place. That's really it. But this is a favorable matchup for the Phillies bats, who have been either asleep, struggling, or just late to the party. And whatever the case or reason was, that changes when you get up against a guy like Trevor Williams. K rate's non-existent. You can hit him. Who cares about the walk rate? The Phillies aren't patient anyway. This could be a Schwarber game. I mean, you could see Brandon Marsh out here lighting it up. Watch out. That's what we tell you. Watch out. Keep it moving here. Mentioned from the Phillies, Nats. Now we'll go to Toronto. This is a hell of a pitching matchup. You've got Kikuchi versus Senga. And I think we're just going to have to go with the home team here. Senga had that forkball just freaking insane against the Phillies. And look, I think Kikuchi is going to be okay in this game, but probably not good enough to overcome the lack of offense. I could see Senga shutting down this Blue Jays offense. Just at the plate, baffling. Maybe Vlad gets around, Bichette gets around, that's fine. But you're going to see some 0 for 4 nights for guys that you may not expect. And looking at Senga, at least that last start that he had, and how whatever that phantom fork is that was working, I'm not worried about the walk rate here. I'm looking at the fact that it's tough to hit him, and it's really tough to avoid a strikeout. That gives us a good opportunity right alone with this Jays-Mets game, taking the Mets at minus 125. Alcantara on the hill. Look at that. Alcantara on the hill. The Miami Marlins bats exploding. And now you got Oakland again. All right, what are you going to do? You got Oakland again. Well, in this particular case here, the one thing, like, we wouldn't go Alcantara Ks, would you? Oof. 8 Ks? Just not seeing it. But I do like this. I think Alcantara is fine pitching to something to this level to where you're going to get plus 127. I'm not willing to go 8 Ks, but I'm willing to say he limits this Oakland Athletics team to jack shit and squat in between. Do not expect anything remotely close to productive from the Oakland Athletics so long as Sandy Alcantara is in the game. And that's essentially what this thing comes down to. We're not making that thing happen at all without some play on Alcantara first. Brewers Reds going to be a little different story. Reminder, thumbs up, subscribe. We're keeping this thing moving for you on a Sunday for you, okay? Least you can do is hit that thumbs up, subscribe, be a part of what we're doing here on the YouTube channel, okay? I gave you that Caesars up to $1,250 back. I mean, seriously, that's below me, but I know, another shot of me. Somebody commented that this is just me putting my face up again. Just be happy that I can't put 2 heads at once. First bets on Caesars up to $1,250. I ain't on that Caesars book. Shut up. Join. Start shopping. Start winning. We're giving you an opportunity for that first bet to be refunded. If it loses, of course. If it loses. If it hits, fan-freaking-tastic. You just hit a huge bet, and you should be happy about that. Blake, Ben, Lively on the hill. Adrian Hauser on the other side. I mean, this is great. This is fantastic. The total sitting at 10, even money to go under. Any chance we can get under in this game? I don't know if we can get under 10. But I'd be willing to say that if you could get 3 innings, oh boy, this would be the one, but it's probably going to be juiced. No, okay, I think we can do that. Look at that Nationals. Look at that bomb Nationals play. Woo! Under 2.5, first 3 total runs for the Brewers and Reds. What? Yeah. How about Adrian Hauser? Okay, little shaky here. He's the guy we're going to have to worry about. We're not worried about Blake Ben Lively. Ben Lively's got no issues here. At least, look, if you're betting K-props on Lively, you may not get there. I understand that. But Lively here, really difficult to hit. That K to walk rate, 27 to 5.7. Like, there are really good pathways here for Lively to hold off this Milwaukee bat. These Brewers bats, I guess is what I meant to say. And I think Hauser is just control, trying to pitch more to contact, I think, than blowing people away. He's not going to make, or he's not going to put himself into too many jams when it comes to walking. Neither one of these guys really are. No, I think first three right there for the over is the best one for us. In fact, under 2.5 at plus 120, 2 runs, definitely, like 2 runs wins this bet. And that's something that I think you can see in this. Maybe a guy gets around for a solo shot. Maybe they work one of these two teams. It's smaller park. I get it too. A mistake on the mound. White Sox hosting the Tigers. Kopech. Hey, man, I'm not doing anything with on the other side. That's really what this comes down to. I'm not touching anything with Detroit, specifically with Boyd. Detroit gets no benefit unless they are at home, and even then, there would need to be something specific. White Sox, I mean, you just saw one of the most absurd games in the history of the sport. First time ever that all runs scored off wild pitches. Don't anticipate that happening again. The only play here is just to take them on the run line. I know you don't like run lines. I don't like run lines, but sometimes they are necessary. And in this case, the Chicago White Sox are simply better, hands down, than Detroit. It would take a rough outing. It would take a silent game. We just saw that. I think Chicago's in a spot where they can bounce back from that. And you're not going to see Detroit limit them 2 times over. Look at that. That's dipping already. You sons of... Already it's dipping. Well, let's go to Kansas City, shall we? Now, Brady Singer alert, okay? Minus 140. That's a big ask, right? Come on now. That's a big ask, and you know that's a big ask. Brady Singer's going to need to bring this thing because, no, I can't even say this with a straight face about Kyle Freeland. Kyle Freeland is nothing. Brady Singer, here's what gets me about Brady Singer, though. We're taking a team, and I think you could either take the Royals at home or go over 9. I'm choosing to take the Royals at home. Both of these pitchers are not good. Neither one of these guys have anything that's remotely close to being like, you know what, that guy's really good at this. It's just about playing at home. It's just about limiting mistakes. Which one of these guys? You're looking at quarterbacks. You're looking at goalies. You're looking at starting pitchers. Similar premise. Which one of these two guys is more prone to make a mistake? All things are equal. Freeland or Singer? Well, the guy on the road. Give me that in this particular case every time. And I'll let the Kansas City Royals play with the lead and the Rockies figure this thing out about how they can get back into this. Angels Stros. Wow, this one was something else, was it not? Angel Stros. I do think that you can make an argument for LA. I really do. I think in this case, though, we're just going to go under 9 here, more so than anything else. And a bigger reason, or the bigger emphasis, is I think I can trust both of these pitchers, even though it may not look like you can just by hearing name association. There's nothing wrong with JP France. He just doesn't dominate, doesn't destroy you. He doesn't need to here. Angels on the road, that's a major letdown for them as is. I mean, all these names, and it's a struggle at times. Griffin Canning, now he's going to be the wild card in this. But what we're doing is anticipating that 2 guys who either don't have the name recognition or probably guys that you're looking a little deeper to find stats on because you don't know them offhand, countering, I think, a lot of the public belief, which is, oh, my man, this is down to 9. Are you kidding me? They're going to smash this thing. I don't think so, especially in the first 3 to 6 frames where you'll see both, if at least one, not both starting pitchers, comfortably pitch into this game. And I think that's going to be why I would bet this more so than anything else under, is that even through that second time around both ends, it's not going to be as scary of a proposition for either Canning or France to hold some bats off. It's not going to be easy for France, but he's pitched well. He has. And look, there are some strikeouts in this Angels lineup. Let's not act like, Ted Williams out here. Hey, Ted Williams. Guardians taking on the Minnesota Twins. Joe Ryan. We're interested. We're in the Joe Ryan business. We are. What does that mean, though? Because Tristan McKenzie on the other side can make this thing interesting. And that's now a wild card that I think you have to pay attention to. So we've got two really good pitchers here. In fact, McKenzie, both of these guys pitching exceptionally well to contact. I think ultimately, though, this is another one where it's like, do you go first 3, first 5, something to that effect? That total is super low at 7.5 as is. I think we just have to fade McKenzie at some point. Tristan McKenzie gets hit. At some point, it's a bad spot, and Minnesota is able to get to him probably a couple of times over. Joe Ryan is just ignorant how good he is. He's on another level right now. McKenzie just ain't there yet. Or at all. I mean, really, you could close your eyes and swing and hope for some power here. It's not like Cleveland's going to dominate in that. So they're going to have to wear Joe Ryan down. Pretty tough when you can't hit for contact or power or avoid strikeouts or draw walks. Like, what are you left with? Closing your eyes and hoping the ball you hit just leaves the park. It's not great. It's the Homer Simpson scenario. It's not great. Close your eyes and hope it all goes away. Seattle, Texas. Let's keep it moving. I thought I said we were going to keep this thing moving. Minus 145 on the money line. On the money line. You know what we're doing here is looking at Evaldi as the big catch right now in this game. We've seen what Seattle really, how bad they got their ass kicked on Friday. Just unforgivable. Is there regression? Maybe from the bats. But Evaldi didn't pitch in that game, right? I always love how this is brought up like, oh, yeah, we expect some regression. Maybe you won't see 15, 20, 30 runs in a game. But that doesn't mean the pitcher can't come out here and do some damage. I mean, hell, like I said, Evaldi wasn't in this game Friday night. He's fantastic matchup here against Seattle. And it's not even so much like every single thing, that metric you'd look at for Nathan Evaldi is, oh my God. And to be fair, Bryce Miller is not horrific in any capacity here. Pretty much average across the board. It's tough to draw walks against either one of these guys. And let's be fair to Bryce Miller. I don't think he's given up more than like 3 walks all year. That's overstatement, but you get it. Rangers minus 145 is how we'll clue this thing in on the money line. Let's keep it moving. We got a couple more. Stick with me here. A couple of more. They're all up. I know they weren't before. Baltimore, money line. Whoops. That's the play. We fade Desclafani. That's what we do. Remember, we had the wrong pitching matchup up there the first time. We fixed it. We corrected it. We hit you with that hammer. In this case, that's exactly what we're doing. Wells, no issues here. You're dealing with a guy in Desclafani who is really going to have to dig deep into how we can limit Baltimore from slapping and hacking. Look, Tyler Wells is great. Like, not great, like, oh my God, fantastic. He's great for us in this bet. Really tough to hit for average against Wells. K to walk is 25-5 rate. I mean, we're fine. We're really fine here. Baltimore has the better pitcher. Baltimore has the better team matchup favoring them at the plate. Don't expect a lot of runs in this game, but expect Baltimore to finish up top. Soroka, isn't that the guy from The Wire? Season 2? Soboka. Sorry. Hey, if you're looking at this game from anything other than Zach Gallen, you're out. You've missed it. Essentially, what this comes to is Zach Gallen limiting Atlanta. Arizona is not going to turn around and destroy. It's just not going to work that way. But Zach Gallen can limit Atlanta, and now you're in business here if you're the D-backs because you're holding on to like a 3-1 lead or something of that effect. Bullpen isn't going to come in and be undressed. I don't think it's the same. I think it's the same for Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't have to worry. Soroka doesn't have to worry as much with this Arizona Diamondbacks lineup hitting for this extreme power and generating tons of runs. I think with Gallen on the hill at home, Atlanta being kept at bay, this is not going to open up the floodgates for the D-backs offense. So play to what we know, which is 3 of the 4 quadrants here favoring the under 8.5. At a minus 105, that's fine with me. Absolutely fine with me. 50-50 shot, minus the VIG, of course. 50-50 shot. Yet, one team's playing at home. That's got to be Weathers, right? It's got to be Weathers doing this. Ryan Weathers, nearly 1-to-1, 15.8 to 10-1 K to walk ratio. Marcus Stroman is the guy that we're targeting. Marcus Stroman is the guy that we believe can get through 5 innings. Somewhere in the 6th inning, okay. Maybe it's a plan pull, what have you, but Stroman is the guy that we think can get minimum 5 innings in his pocket without being down, with either holding the lead or keeping it scoreless or keeping that lead tied, what have you. No lead lost at all by Marcus Stroman. That's what I can count on. I do think that Ryan Weathers, as crazy as this looks, Ryan Weathers just not a strikeout guy, and that's fine. But as crazy as it may sound, I guess, because you're watching and listening and all that, it's not that easy to hit for contact against Weathers. It's not like insanely easy. But we're in a good spot here, taking Marcus Stroman, tailing Marcus Stroman, and putting that up. Last one. Wow. You can't bet it right now. But the play would be YRFI. Now, I have to give you something else because I don't have it here. That's fine. Whoops, I stand corrected. Caesars. I knew I shouldn't have counted you out. The play here is YRFI. Absolutely. We're getting a run in the 1st inning. This is not Garrett Cole. This is not Friday night. This is Domingo Germán versus Miller, right, on the other side of it? No, Bobby Miller, sorry. You don't have a stretched out Bobby Miller. Aaron Judge coming off a jack. New York is ready, seething, ready to go. On the other side, like Germán, not a guy that I want to play from a strikeout standpoint, but not blowing you away. Dodgers looking at a disappointment, trying to bounce their bats back. I think this is a great spot for base runners. Bobby Miller and Domingo Germán are both live to give up a base runner. Again, Bobby Miller not stretched. Domingo Germán, that walk rate around 8.83. Not great, not awful, barely comfortable, if you will. There's going to be a mistake made in this 1st inning. It might be a meatball sent out of the park. It might simply be one base runner. And that's all we need for the floodgates. Thank you. Thank you for spending your Sunday with me. I know that's a lot. I don't mean for it to be a lot, but it's a lot. It's a lot. We'll see you on the Discord. Come yell at me on the Discord then. How about that? Come bitch and moan at me. You bastard. You took up all this time. Blah, blah, blah. All that. I'm there for you. I'm there. The link is below. We'll give you half off your first week. See ya.